Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2023 Toyota Rav4 Prime XSE. Let's get started. This year, Toyota added a few new things to the Rav4 Prime. Most notably, we have faster standard charging. We also have Toyota's new audio and multimedia interface, which also includes new screens and the new 12.3-inch digital gauges, which we'll show you in today's video. But first, let's talk about what kind of powertrain we have on this plug-in hybrid Rav4. Under the hood, we have a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, which combined with the hybrid batteries makes a net combined horsepower of 302. On gasoline only, the Prime does 38 miles per gallon. On electric only, the Prime does 42 miles of range, and combined it does 94 miles per gallon. This year, the 6.6 kilowatt onboard charger is the new standard. Before, it was a 3.3 kilowatt onboard charger, and you would have to get the XSE premium package if you wanted the 6.6 kilowatt charger, but now that's going to be available across all of the Rav4 Primes. The Rav4 Prime XSE starts at $45,460, and this one as spec'd is $47,919. In this overview, we're going to go over the exterior and then we're going to jump inside and talk about some of the features. So starting off here in the front of the Rav4 Prime, we have these LED projector headlights with an LED daytime running light. This is the same headlight that we now have across the entire Rav4 lineup. Just below those headlights, in the same place that you would see a fog light, we have these vertical accent lights on each side. In the center, we have a blue Toyota emblem to signify that this is a hybrid vehicle. And then just below that, we have our sports style front grille, which we have an upper grille and a lower grille over here. Now, only the center of this front grille is going to be open for airflow. The sides are going to be completely blocked off. And then also right here, we have these three pieces right under the Toyota emblem that are blocked off. That's just because there is a radar built in behind this Toyota emblem to help us with our Toyota Safety Sense features. Moving up, we have a couple of body lines on the hood, which raise the hood a little bit on each side. And the color that we're taking a look at here today is the magnetic gray metallic with a midnight black metallic roof. All of the XSE Rav4 Primes are going to come with a black roof, whereas all of the SE Rav4 Primes are just going to be one single color. This Rav4 Prime in particular also came with the $375 weather option, so we do get these rain sensing wipers with de-icing functions, so we have these heating lines right here behind the wipers, and if you do get this package, it also gives you a heated steering wheel. At the top of the windshield, we also have a camera mounted just behind the rear view mirror, which is going to be looking at the cars in front of you and the lane markings to also help with Toyota Safety Sense features. Moving on to wheels and tires, we have these 19-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels, and the tire size here is 235/55 R19. The Rav4 Prime also gets this red front suspension that you can see here between the wheels and the body. Moving on to the side now, just in front of the side view mirror, we have a badge here that does say plug-in hybrid and has this little blue and chrome stripe also just besides that. Moving on over to the side mirror, this side mirror is going to be midnight black metallic, so to match the top of the Rav4 Prime. There is a turn signal indicator built into it, and we also have blind spot monitors on these mirrors. There is also keyless entry on the front driver and passenger side, so as long as the key is nearby, we can place our hand right here to unlock the Rav4 Prime, and if we want to lock it, we have these two lines right here which we can press on. The trimming on these windows is going to be chrome on the top and regular black on the bottom. We also have regular black plastic right here running between the front and rear doors. At the bottom of the rear doors, there is an all-wheel drive badge down there, and we also have a lot of gloss plastic running around and throughout the bottom of the Rav4 Prime here. The driver's side has our gasoline fuel door, so to open this, you would have to go inside the cabin to release this door, but the Rav4 Prime does just take regular 87 octane gas. On the passenger side, we have our charging lid, which to open this, you just tap. As long as the car is unlocked, it'll open up just like this. We then have this little dust cap, which we can just pull off right here, and this is where you're going to plug in your charger. If you're charging at 240 volts, which is like most public charging stations, the Rav4 Prime will take 2.5 hours at 6.6 kilowatts or 4.5 hours if the charger is charging at 3.3 kilowatt hours. Moving up to the top, we have these standard black roof rails here, which you can attach accessories to if you do want to mount any crossbars or any objects on top of your Rav4 Prime. We also have a regular size sunroof here, which is standard on the XSE models, but if you do want to get the panoramic size sunroof, which stretches all the way out to the back seats, that is optional if you do get the premium package on this Rav4 Prime XSE. Moving on to the back, we have our black shark fin antenna back here, and then just like any other Rav4, we sort of have this little spoiler that covers a little bit of the rear glass. On the rear glass, we also have a rear wiper back here, which can be controlled from the interior. And now that we're in the rear, we have our tail lights back here with this lawn silver piece that sort of bridges these two tail lights together. In the back here, we have our blue Toyota emblem, again, because this is a hybrid. On the left, we have Rav4 Prime badging, XSE badging on the right side. Reverse camera is going to be just above that license plate frame. And down below, we have our black rear bumper, which has these two red reflectors on each side. And down below that, we have our dual exiting exhaust, which are wrapped around with these chrome tips. Prime also has a standard power liftgate, so to open up the power liftgate, we have a couple of different ways to do it. We do have our smart key system over here, which we can hold down on one of these buttons, which will open and close that liftgate for us. We also have a button in the interior. We can also press down on this button over here just underneath the Toyota emblem. As long as the key is nearby, we can have this power liftgate open up by itself. And to close the liftgate, you can push on this button right over here, or pull down right here on this handle. It'll finish the rest of the way, or use any of the other methods like using the key or by pressing by the steering wheel. Inside the cargo area of this Rav4 Prime, we have a couple of goodies that this one in particular came with. So we do have these rubber floor mats, which are going to go in the front later, but we also have this rubber floor liner as well as this cargo net back here. Every single Rav4 Prime is also going to come with this little package right here, which does include a 120 volt charger for this Rav4. It's one of these just regular outlet styles with 3 prongs, and it's going to take roughly 12 hours to charge the Rav4 Prime using this standard cable at home. Under the floorboard of the cargo area, we also get a spare tire and some tools. Back here, we also get this sliding cargo cover, which will latch onto these points back here, and every XSE is also going to come with these 9 standard JBL speakers. Let's jump inside now and talk about some of the interior features. Starting with the door card, we have auto up-down windows on all 4 corners, our window lock button, lock and unlock for the entire car, as well as our mirror controls. Down below, we have some water bottle storage, as well as another one of those speakers. The door card is made up of leather on the upper portions and plastic on the bottom portions. Let's take a look at these seats now. Toyota puts their Softex material on the Rav4 Prime, so we have this very soft, cushiony fake leather over here with a lot of red stitching around the entire seat. Toyota also puts a little bit of fabric here where your lower back and legs are going to be, with these red stripes that go across. The driver's seat is power adjustable and has lumbar support, but the passenger seat does not have any lumbar support or power seats. And before we fully get into the Rav4 Prime, let's take a look at some of the buttons that we have over here. So we have a brightness control for the center gauges. We have our automatic high beams button, de-icer for the windshield, heated steering wheel, odometer trip reset, opening and closing for the tailgate, as well as a release for that fuel door and a release for the hood. Now that we're sitting in the Rav4 Prime, we have red stitching all along the door card, all along the dash, and the passenger door card. So we have red stitching that kind of goes around this entire cabin. And then also just above that, we have this air vent with a little bit of silver going around it. The steering wheel is wrapped in leather and stitched with red stitching. We also have our airbag and horn in the center and a lot of buttons around the steering wheel. The left side over here is mostly going to control that 12.3-inch digital gauge that we have that we'll show you in a moment. Bottom row here is going to control audio and multimedia features, and the right side is going to control some of our Toyota Safety Sense features. Behind the steering wheel to the left, we do have automatic headlights. To the right, we have our wiper controls, and there is also going to be paddle shifters on this XSE model. Also behind the steering wheel is our start button. Let's go ahead and start this Rav4 Prime and see what that new 12.3-inch gauge looks like. The 12.3-inch digital gauge that we see here in the Rav4 Prime is going to be very, very similar to what we saw a few weeks back in the Highlander Hybrid Limited. If you want to see me go over this display in a little bit more detail, check out that video. But something that I've discovered since making that video is that we do have these meter settings over here where we can change the meter type. So we have different styles and different layouts here for how this digital gauge is going to look like. So we have a bigger focus on just the digital speed over here, and we have all different types. But we also have meter style over here where we can change from sporty to tough, smart, or casual. These new digital gauges are a lot more customizable than I originally thought, and there's still new things that I'm learning with each time that I drive a car with these new gauges. Also new this year is this 10.5-inch screen. Before, in last year's Rav4 Prime, this used to be a 9-inch touchscreen, but now we have this 10.5-inch screen, and it also has Toyota's new audio and multimedia system. This now gives us wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, Google integration, over-the-air updates, and a lot more. I've just now connected my phone as a Bluetooth device here for this Rav4 Prime, and now we have wireless Apple CarPlay enabled. It's also nice to see that Toyota kept the volume knob here on the driver's side instead of on the passenger side like they moved it to in the Highlanders. Just below that 10.5-inch screen, we have 2 air vents over here as well as our emergency lights. The RAV4 Prime does have dual zone climate control, so as long as we turn off sync over here, I can have a different temperature for driver and different temperature for the passenger side. We also have heated seat controls over here for both the driver and passenger side, so we have a high and a low setting for each one of those. And we also have a traction control off button over here. Moving down below that, there is sort of a little storage area over here that does have a Qi wireless phone charger, so we can place our phone right there and wirelessly charge it. Back here, we also have a 12-volt power outlet as well as a USB Type-A media port. Moving on to the shifter area, we do have an electronic parking brake over here, which does go up and down automatically. So as you can see, if I go into the reverse gear, the electronic parking brake goes down. There's also a brake hold feature just beside that. Next up, we have all these buttons over here that allow us to choose how we drive the RAV4 Prime, starting with this HV EV button. By pressing right here, we can switch. You can see on the center gauge, right now we are in HV mode, but by pressing here, I can switch into EV mode. So just pressing that button multiple times, you can see I'm switching between a hybrid and electric mode. If I want to just forget about choosing and let the car choose for me, I can choose auto EV HV mode, and this way the car is automatically going to choose which way is the most efficient way to drive. Just below that, we have these 3 different drive modes. So we can twist to the left for eco, twist to the right for sport, or push right here for normal mode. Lastly, there's also a trail mode just down below all of that. And speaking about reverse, Toyota did update the camera system this year, so we do finally have a high definition camera. It's much better than the outgoing camera that they were using, and we also have this new green guideline where we didn't have before, so we have a much better way of telling which way we're gonna go in reverse. Next up, we have 2 cup holders over here, as well as an average size glove box with 2 USB-C ports. Moving on to the passenger side, like we talked about with that red stitching carrying all the way over, that silver trim piece also carries over and goes around the passenger side vent over here. Down below that, we have this little storage cubby so that the passenger can place any of their objects here as well. And below that, we have our glove box, which has all of the paperwork for this car, but it is pretty small for the size of this RAV4. Moving up from the dash, we do have these JBL tweeters over here on the A-pillars of the RAV4 Prime. And then moving on to our rear view mirror, this is an auto dimming rear view mirror, and it does also have home link controls, so we can set 3 different garage remotes for access to garages or gates. Moving on up from that, we do have a sunglass holder up here, as well as an emergency SOS button. Our light controls are here as well, and our sunroof controls. Next up, we have the visors, which do have a mirror and a light on them. They can be moved around just like this, and they also have this little extending portion if you need that extra coverage, but the visor itself does not adjust. Next, let's take a look at the second row of the RAV4 Prime here. So hopping in, we have the exact same style of seats that we had on the driver and the passenger side. So we have this Softex leather material over here with these cloth inserts. We can also fold forward these rear seats very easily by pulling up on this latch here and sliding the seat forward. This makes it almost flat. There's going to be a little bit of a raise like this, but that'll give us access to the cargo area if we need to fit some larger items there. These rear seats also give us child seat latch points over here. The middle seat doesn't get any of that. If you're not using the middle seat, you can also fold down this area right here for 2 cup holders or an armrest. Sitting in the second row behind the driver's seat now, I can say that I have a lot of space back here, even though I have the driver's seat as far back as it goes. There is also a storage pocket back here behind the driver's side and behind the passenger side. We also have air vents back here and 2 more USB-C ports. What's also really cool about this one in particular is we do also have heated seats in the back. It is a $440 factory option, but right here next to the window switches, there is going to be a button to turn on your rear heated seats. That's going to do it for this week's overview of the 2023 Toyota Rav4 Prime XSE. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps out and helps me grow and make more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.